Hello everybody, we are up to day 2. Yay! I hope you're all really excited, and I would love to hear if you've all been showing action today on yesterday's engagement training. I'd love to hear how you went with all the engagement posts, and if you put a post up today and you've got more engagement, I'd love to hear about it. So today, as a part of day 2 training, we will be talking about your marketing plan. And this is something that I get asked about a lot. There's a lot of people who like to have things super planned out, and then you've got people on the other end of the spectrum that like to keep things really sort of less than strategic, and I would put it more so in the intuitive side, or sporadic or spontaneous side. So some people wait until they've actually got the inspiration to do a post, which unfortunately you'll have all or nothing days. Now, what I want to teach you today is all about coming up with a marketing strategy that you can implement in less than 30 minutes per day. Are you ready to hear it? Hello, whoever's joining. Give me a thumbs up so that I know that you can hear me, or pop a comment into the comment box. I'd love to see who you are. So let's get started, hey? There's a number of steps that I want to take you through tonight, and hopefully you could already be doing some of them, but this will give you more sort of strategic alignment for your purpose for your content, and also it'll keep your marketing message really quite clear for your audience as well. So, you know, yesterday how we're talking about all the different types of engagement posts that you could be doing? And during the week, I'd been talking about coming up with a whole big brainstorming amount of ideas. Well, with those ideas, I would suggest that you put them into content pillars. So you might have, say, 2, 3, 4, or 5 content pillars. And what these represent are things that you're really good at, so something that you're taking a stand on for your expertise. So let's say you're a thyroid specific naturopath. You would want to be talking about thyroid health at least 1 post per week. And let's say you want to talk about self-care, might be another pillar. And then maybe you want to talk about something to do with diet as another pillar. And then maybe you want to talk about what's something else that's not related to any of that stuff, but you really love. So something that I really love is motivational and things that are quite inspirational. So I would say that's one of my pillars, is sort of inspiration / motivation, where I might use, say, a really cool quote, or a quote that really goes a bit deeper and makes you think about things and get curious. So that's one of my pillars. So you have to sort of brainstorm those 101 ideas that you come up with, and then categorize them into your 4 or 5 pillars. Then what you want to do is, once you've started to do these different types of engagement posts. Oh, hey, Kate, thanks. Oh, I'm glad you watched last night's as well. I hope you got heaps out of it. So once you're starting to get some engagement in your engagement posts, I would encourage you to go into and look at the insights inside your Instagram. The way you will find them, if you're on your phone, just go to the top right when you go into your profile. So you want to look at your profile and go to the top right where there's 3 little lines. Click on that or tap on that. And then what you'll get underneath that, it will say settings, insights. Click on insights. And then you have a look at all posts. Now what you see is how many people that has reached. It'll have a little eyeball and a number next to the eyeball, and that's how many people it's reached. And the beauty about Instagram, which I love, is it ranks it in order from the highest through to the lowest. And it doesn't matter if you posted it a year ago, you're going to be showing up as, you know, your top one that was showed to 782. Great, you're going to know that that's one that people really like. Your audience are really liking that. And that's something you might be able to, let's go into my part 2, repurpose. Now, your marketing plan should really have a solid repurposing plan. Now, what I mean by repurposing is you don't have to keep recreating the wheel. You share something on Facebook, it doesn't have to be identical to something on Instagram, but it definitely needs to be related to your audience, and it definitely needs to relate to your 4 pillars. So you think about go to your Instagram or go to your Facebook and you need to check the insights and you're the most engaged with post, you need to make sure that you're repurposing that content. So let's say the very easy one is repurposing from Instagram into Facebook. Just make sure you remove all the hashtags because Facebook doesn't like hashtags. You can pretty much keep the copy fairly similar. I would suggest, like I said last night, to put a click-through link to either a download that you've done or a blog post that you've done or something that's related to that content. Then another way you can repurpose is you might want to, from that one picture with a caption, you might want to do a Facebook Live on it. So you just come on and you talk about why this particular thing or this particular author or this particular day or this particular food or whatever it is, how it affects you and why you really want your audience to take action on it. And by going on live, they're getting to see you, they're getting to interact with you, and they're going to engage more with your post because they're getting used to that consistency of seeing your face, hearing your voice, hearing your authority on this particular matter or this particular problem that they might have and the thing that you're really solving for them. So the other sort of post that you might want to do is, this is a really common one that people get repurposed, particularly if you've got a VA, so a virtual assistant. If you don't, you can totally do this yourself in a program like Canva. That's where I would do it personally. It's really quite easy. You can go in and just create little tiles. So it could either be a meme, so you might put, say, a few, like one sentence from that post, from that caption that's capturing the essence of that post. And you want to put that really simplistically, could just be white writing on, say, a peach background or something like that. Whatever your branding colors are, I'd suggest sticking with that. You don't necessarily have to have your logo, but try and keep it in congruence with your brand messaging and your overall look and feel of your brand as well. So for example, if you do whites and golds and blacks, you wouldn't all of a sudden just throw in a random burnt orange color. It just wouldn't go. So just make sure you're in congruence with the rest of your brand message and your colors and your feel, and making sure that if you are using a picture with words over the top, that it also has a similar feel for your branding message. Now, once you've done these tiles, you probably want to do at least 3 tiles per post that is engaging well. So keep that in mind, write that down. Then you think about that, you've got 3 more posts that you can repurpose from that already well engaged post. So Kate, how important is it to use Instagram? You have an account but not sure how to use it, you mainly use Facebook. You know what, Kate, if you don't like Instagram, don't use it. That's what I would suggest. I really love Instagram, but it took me ages. Like, it wasn't until probably this time last year that I actually understood how to use it and what it's for. I go through into Instagram quite deeply in my mastermind and teach people how to use it. So the how of everything is really what I go into deeply in my group program. But if you're used to Facebook and you know how to use it, just use Facebook. If you can nail that one platform and that's where your ideal client hangs out, then it's perfect. There's plenty of people who started with just Facebook and they've stuck to Facebook and they're doing really, really well. So it's a bit like those major brands that will bring out their one signature product and then they won't actually deviate from that one product until they've nailed that one product. So same thing. If you're really good with Facebook, then just stick with that for the time being. Now, once you've created your tiles and you've had a video and you've had a really well engaged just normal post, you could create a blog post as well. So the great thing is, if you've already written a really great caption, you just need to sort of beef that up a little bit and turn it into a blog post. So a blog post only needs to be about 500 to 800 words, which is pretty darn easy, particularly if it's about a topic that you're really passionate about. Yeah, no worries, Kate. That's okay, Liz, no worries. You can go back and listen to the start. Once we're finished, it'll be uploaded. So with blog posts, they really don't need to be difficult. I always keep a Word document open on my, just in my little toolbar down the bottom. And if I come up with some sort of great idea or there's some sort of thing that's on my mind and I want to write about it, I just quickly open up that Word document and type it all out. Just any words that come into my head. Doesn't necessarily have to be super coherent and make total sense. But if you have that inspiration, act on it while you can. It could only take you like 10 minutes to 20 minutes to whack out a really good blog post, maybe 2, particularly if it's a similar topic that you could go a little bit deeper. You could do a part 1 and a part 2. And then all you got to do is upload that onto your website. Then if you've got a great website, and let's say like last night where I suggested that you start featuring on someone else's podcast, let's say you approach them once you've been on their podcast and you said, hey, I've got a really great blog post related to what I spoke about in the podcast. Could we create a backlink to my website? So basically what a backlink is, those people will take your URL and embed it into their website. And then you could take their podcast URL and embed it into your website. So basically, Google sees this beautiful web of people connecting, and it's a really easy way for you to pop up higher on a search engine. So that's just another way that you could repurpose your content. So really, that one post could turn into at least 3, 4, 5 other things. So you really just need to work smarter, not harder. You don't need to keep coming up with brand new content every single day. That's something that's really consistent that I've heard a lot of you talk about, that, when I go to post on social media, I sort of freeze up and I'm not really sure what to post. Well, once you get used to doing those engagement posts and getting used to what your people really, really love, that is when you're going to know what to repurpose. So I would suggest to go in that little bit deeper. And even if you're only repurposing it once, like let's say you're sharing something on Facebook and then that Facebook thing's gone really well and you create a few tiles and then you schedule those tiles to come out over the next few weeks and keeps those people interested. So I'll give you a really hot tip about Facebook and Instagram. If you have one person engaging and they've liked or they've commented or they've clicked the read more or learn more just so that they can read your actual caption, you have prime position in their newsfeed for the next 2 weeks. So see that as free advertising. You actually want people to be clicking and reading what you're writing. So please make it interesting. What sorts of things are they coming to you and saying that they're struggling with? What's your ideal client struggling with? Because let's face it, everybody, when they're looking through posts, they're constantly in the frame of mind of what's in it for me. They always want to know. Every single person at some stage is always going to have some sort of problem or a struggle, and they want to know what's in it for them. So what do you have for them? What solution do you have for them? So if you're one of those people that sort of cringed when I said last night that a lot of naturopaths and nutritionists have really boring content, well, how can you, instead of just sharing the content, make it more interesting and interesting to that person reading it because it's to do with them? You know it's to do with them, but you don't need to give them the nitty-gritty detail. You just need to say, hey, identify with them. Do you highlight the problem? Give them a little scenario where maybe you've helped somebody else with that problem. Maybe you've been through that problem yourself. And then after, there might be a solution for this. Keep reading. And then it takes them through to your blog post. Or you've just typed like the top 3 tips for that person, which is super easy for you and I, but maybe it's just life-changing for them. At the very end of that, if you're on Facebook, always put that booking link. Say, hey, if this resonated with you and you need to learn more and you really want to get on top of your health, then I suggest that you book a call or you book in to see me. Here's my number, or here's the booking link. So it's really, really quite simple. Do you guys have any questions about any of that? Is anybody using the scheduling tool as well? Because I find that that's consistency is another thing that people are talking about that they're struggling with. And like I sort of said at the very beginning, people are either super consistent and they love to do their planning, or, which sometimes it can end up being a bit boring because it's like same old, or they're relying on their inspiration. So you need to sort of find that happy medium between those two. And the way I like to do it is I like to schedule, say, 3 posts a week, and then I like to do a couple of more, they're still strategic, but they're more on the fly type ones. So that might be like, I've been to a yoga class and I come up with this amazing idea, and I get home and I go, okay, I've got to share that with my people. So that might be a time when I would possibly do it. And that just satisfies probably the bulk majority of you, because that seems to be, if you're struggling with your consistency, you really, really need to use that scheduling tool. And then just pick a day, 1 day a week, where you're coming on camera. You just need to practice. Because trust me, being on camera has not been easy the whole time that I've done it. I used to really, really struggle. I used to be like super sweaty and shaky, and like my voice always seemed quite weird. And now it seems as normal as if I'm talking in front of all of you, or, you know, you're sitting right next to me and I'm talking to you. So hopefully that has been super helpful for you all. If you've come in late, or if you're watching on the replay, just pop in there that you're catching the replay, because I will come back in at a later time and I will answer your questions. If there's any other questions that you're needing to come up with, please post them in the group. I am in the group a couple of times a day, so I'm more than happy to answer questions. That's what I'm here for. I want you guys to get the most value out of this training, because, as I say, it is my passion to help naturopaths and nutritionists succeed, particularly women in business, because I know that you've all got it in you. It's just a matter of being more visible and coming out of hiding. So thank you all for joining me. Okay, there's one more question. Is that Edgar? I'm not sure what that means, Kate. Have you heard of Social Om? No, I'm not sure what Edgar or Social Om is. Do you mean like a scheduling tool? The 2 scheduling tools that I recommend, and I said it last night, are Buffer and Later. They're the 2 that I would use. But if you're scheduling to Facebook, Facebook actually really prefers you to use their scheduling tool. So just go into Business Manager and go into your page from Business Manager and go to the scheduling tool, publishing tools, and just schedule them all in from there. You can make it the right time. You can make it perfect for your time zone and for when your people are online. I would highly suggest posting at times when they're going to be online. It's incredible how many people are online at like 2 a.m. apparently. But you check when your people are online, and yeah, check out your insights and start really reutilizing and repurposing those well-engaged posts. So thank you all so much for joining me. I will see you all tomorrow, same time, same place, and we will be deep diving into some more training. So thank you all so much, and I will see you on the next video.